All right, Jeff Zimmerman here with the legend, Roy Jones Jr., the only person to hold world titles at middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. And oh, by the way, the 1988 Olympics silver medalist with an asterisk, the legend Roy Jones Jr. How you doing, champ?
Doing good, brother. How you doing?
Good. I bring up the Olympics because there's no better person to talk Olympic boxing than you. And I know you got a big fight coming up September 19th. You got a fighter, Mandeep Jangra from Indian fighter fighting for the NBA junior lightweight title against a Nicaraguan, Nilo Guerrrero. My wife's from Nicaragua, but I'm rooting for your guy, Roy. But
Thank you.
but before we get into that, man, as I mentioned before we got on the recording, last time I sat down with you was about 4 years ago during COVID, and it was the day after you signed the deal for your exhibition with Iron Mike Tyson. Uh, I asked if I was your first interview, but I think you got one more before me, and
I did. Yeah.
you did, and you fought him. It'll be 4 years in November, and time is just flying by. But now you got Mike back in the ring in a real fight against a young, hungry lion in Jake Paul. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great fight. Great marketing situation as well because so many people want to see it because of the young lion and the old lion. So it's a great situation for them. A great situation for fans because it gives him an opportunity. It gives Jake a chance with Mike being as old as he is. You feel me? So I think it's a great opportunity for both fighters, but I still think Mike probably gonna be a little too much for Jake.
Really? Because I've been hearing that people think Jake, being the young guy, may be too much for Mike.
If he can get to the late rounds, yes. If he get to the round 4 or 5, maybe yeah. But he has to get out of the first 3 rounds.
Now you were in there with them, and I think you said after he still has his strength and his
Still
power.
got the power. Still got the power. That's why I say Jake has to get out of the first 3 rounds. If you get past the first 3 rounds, he got a chance. But the first 3 rounds are gonna be devastating.
And if Mike catches them with one shot, is it?
It's over. It's over. If he
Yeah,
throws them, yeah.
yeah. The power's the last thing to go, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, any advice for Mike for this
No,
fight?
just be smart. Just be smart. Go in and you're the old lion, so go ahead and do what you gotta do and get it over with. You don't
Yeah,
want to go. You don't want a distance fight.
yeah. Now, listen, I know you're a big fan of Bud Crawford. He's kind of
Yep.
doing what you did back in the day, trying to move up in weight, capture multiple titles. He's been talking about Canelo for some time. It seems like he's trying to hold out for that fight.
Yep.
Well, I know you like Crawford, but how would he fare against a guy like Canelo?
You can't say no to Crawford till somebody beat him. It was the same with me. You can't say no to me till somebody beat me. And as you saw, as long as I was cool until I pulled the weight off me, wasn't nobody gonna beat me. So as long as I was able to put weight on, wasn't nobody gonna beat me. As long as he putting weight on, ain't nobody gonna beat him. Now they strip him back down to 47 or 40, they might have a chance because that takes way more from you than going up in weight. But as long as he goes up, the sky's the limit for Bud. So I mean, Canelo's a tough cookie to crack. Don't get it wrong. And I'm not saying he's gonna beat Canelo, but Canelo gonna have to beat him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he ain't gotta beat Canelo. Canelo gotta beat him.
Watching Crawford against Madronov, a lot of people were surprised probably because they'd never heard of Madronov. But were you surprised on how that fight went down?
Was not surprised at all. You got to remember, Madridov, how you say his name, is one of these guys who has an exceptional amateur background. These guys from Uzbekistan are some of the best fighters in the world today. Them in Kazakhstan probably have won more medals in the Olympics than even the Russians and the Americans and the Cubans lately because their technique is so sound. So when you see a guy come from that block of the world, you have to know these guys aren't a joke. This guy was only like 10-0 at the time. And he
Right.
gave Bud, look how much trouble he gave Bud at 10-0 as a pro. So you got to remember, these are the Lomachenko type guys now. It's not normal. Yeah.
And based on that, that's why I wanted to talk to you, Roy, because you have such a different perspective than most people. After that fight, everyone's like, "Oh, forget about Canelo. Bud has no shot." But hearing what you said, you still have hopes if you were to get in front of Canelo.
He still has a shot because he still has been. So who say he doesn't have a shot? Why doesn't he have a shot?
Yeah.
Depending on how Canelo fight him, really going to determine the outcome of the fight. And I'm not going to give up too much information because it's not my job, but it's really what's going to define the fight is what fight approach Canelo takes. Because if he take the wrong approach, he's going to lose. He take the right approach, he almost guaranteed to win. But if he take the wrong approach, he's guaranteed to lose. So for me, it's not about who's a better fighter. It's about who takes the right approach to the fight. Canelo, the bigger guy, if he take the right approach, he should win the fight. He take the wrong approach, he's definitely going to lose the fight.
Yeah. Are we sleeping on Berlanga and Canelo? I mean,
I ain't gonna say we're sleeping on it. Berlanga is a puncher, so you gotta always know that anything can happen when you fight a puncher. But we have never seen Canelo even down, so we wouldn't think that this guy really, even though he's a puncher, Triple G was a puncher, but he wasn't as big as Berlanga, but he was a puncher. So it's like we haven't really seen him in against a lot of big punchers, but this is a big puncher. But most big punchers don't take the best punch either. So if you can take theirs and get back to him, it's usually a problem.
yeah, yeah. Let me ask you, Roy, there's been a lot of talk. We've got Turkey coming in from Saudi Arabia, trying to make all these big fights, throwing a lot of money into boxing and has had some success. What are your thoughts of what he's done so far and how do you see it playing out, long term?
I like it, and I don't know how it's going to play out in the long term because I haven't really been into it because I don't get into business too much. But I do know that some guys will win from it. Guys like me would have definitely won from it because when I turned pro, you could have put me in there with anybody because I was that guy that didn't have to get ready as a pro. I was already ready when I turned pro. But for the guys who have to get the pro experience, it's gonna be rough for them because you'll see situations like with Anderson, got put in with a guy too early. He hadn't got his defense polished yet to get in there with a guy that could really punch, and that's what happens. So it's like you can't go too early. You still got to take your time and go through the steps and gradually learn to deal with better fighters and better fighters and better fighters before you take on the top upper echelon guys.
Yeah, so you're just talking about Turkey
Yeah.
and
The main thing is the money is good, but some guys aren't really ready for that jump yet. So you got to
right.
make sure your guys ready for that jump before you put them in there to take that jump.
Yeah, yeah, and he's talking about making Joshua Fury, which is a fight the whole world's been wanting to see for years.
It's a very smart fight. And that's what I do like about it. He is giving us the opportunity. See, this is why the UFC is taking over boxing. Because in UFC, you get the fights you want to see. In boxing, we don't get the fights we want to see. We've been wanting to see Tyson Fury and Joshua for how long? We don't get it. You
Right.
understand me? We want to see Joshua and Wilder. We don't get it. You understand me? Now we think Wilder may be through. We don't know, but we think he may be through. So we may not ever get that. We want to see Tank and Haney. We want to see Tank and
Sure.
Shakur. We want to see Tank and everybody, but he'll make it happen. And that's a good thing because that'll bring boxing back to the good old days where the good fighters fight the good fighters. Right now, it's not there, so UFC is getting all the recognition and all the fans because as a UFC fan, you do get the fights you want to see.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, and since you brought it up, taking Shakur, uh, how do you see that fight if Turkey can make it or someone can make that fight?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it all depends on, like I said, once again, boxing's about who fights what fight. You know what I mean? What style of fight Tank want to fight? Tank got one style he can definitely dominate. One style would be questionable. Shakur got one style he could dominate, and one style that would be questionable. So it's like it determines which style both of those guys decide to fight one another. If one does one thing and the other does not know how to adjust to it, then he's gonna win. If the other does one thing, a second thing, and the other one don't know how to adjust to it, he's gonna win. So when you got fighters that good, it's all about who can get the right game plan and who can make the adjustments.
Would you call it a 50-50 fight at this point?
Yes, it would be definitely a 50-50 fight at this point.
Interesting. So Roy, I mentioned the Olympics earlier, silver medalist, 88. You won the best fighter of the tournament, yet you were the silver medalist because of all the corruption. We just got done with the 2024. Now we're going back to LA in 2028. Boxing may not even be a part of it. I was at the 84 Olympics with Breland, Whitaker, Holyfield, arguably one of the best teams ever. What's going on with Olympic boxing in the US and just what are your thoughts overall, someone who's lived through it and has had to deal with it?
Boxing is a funny thing. It's crazy because even in the sport, I give Jake Paul all the admiration in the world for the way that he showed people how to market themselves and turn yourself into a big commodity in the sport. But only boxing can uh, um, a YouTuber come in and make more money than the real average boxer. No other sport that's gonna happen. Because it shows you how crazy boxing is, right? Then you have an Olympics where they're allowing athletes with male genes to fight athletes with female genes. You understand me? So it's gotten so bad that you really don't know which way to go. I feel bad for everybody because, like I told them before, once they didn't change that decision of where they robbed me at, everything went down here from there. Because if you're gonna let a guy get robbed like that on your national world TV at the biggest Olympic arena in boxing or in sports, period, and you're gonna let a guy get mistreated and you don't fix it, the integrity of your sport goes down. Guess what? The integrity of the Olympics has nosedived since then. It's went worse and worse and worse. Now nobody really cares. So bad that even in America, we have coaches. We hire foreign coaches to come coach the American team. It's crazy. You understand me? So it's like it's out of this world. You got people like myself, other athletes that performed here that represented the United States. Yeah, we gonna get a foreign trainer. I would do that. Well, what we expecting to win? But for me, I lost respect for the Olympics way back then. I really haven't watched another Olympics since then. I knew De La Hoya won. I knew Floyd. What did they say he got cheated with? I don't know. I knew Ward won a gold medal. Carissa won 2 gold medals, but I never watched none of it. I just hear about what happened. Now I don't watch the Olympics no more. Since that happened to me and they didn't fix it, I don't want to watch the Olympics because why would you watch something that a person can be brutally cheated and nobody cares?
Yeah. Wasn't there talk about giving you a gold medal, like
No
making up
talks
for it?
about it. No talks. No talks about it. Not from the IOC. No.
Wow. It's still you still live with that horrible decision. That's
Yep.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. The way you've come out of it though is just amazing. There's another fight coming up. Beterbiev and Bivol is a fight we all
Yep.
want to see.
That's a very interesting fight. I think Bivol has the better opportunity or the better chances going in because he's more of a boxer who also can punch. But Beterbiev is one of the best punchers that this world is probably ever going to see for his weight class. So he's always ever dangerous, but he's been down a few times too in boxing. People say it's all balance, this, that, other. No matter, you've been down. If a fighter knows you've been down, he can possibly put you back down if he gets you in the right place. But he's so hard to deal with that Bivol got to make sure you get to the third or fourth or fifth round, or you got to go out and try to get him down right away. But I don't think he'll do that because Bivol is not that kind of guy. But Bivol can use his feet to avoid the power for the first 3 or 4 rounds. Bivol should win the fight, but if he get caught, we don't know because I've never seen him get caught by a guy that punches with the velocity that Arthur punches with.
And I think I heard you're giving Bivol a 60-40. You got maybe 60-40
Well,
going toward,
just because of his boxing skills.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Big fight September 19th in Washington State. Got your fighter Mandeep Jangra. He's fighting Nilo Guerrrero for the NBA junior lightweight title. Talk about this fighter that you have and how did you guys meet?
I met him through some guys when I was working down at Pro Box with Gary, and it's just we met, and then a guy called and said, "Hey, Pro Box released Mandeep Jangra. Could you take him?" I said, "Sure, I'll check him out." So he came up here, and the good thing about it was he was willing to learn. So I taught him what true boxing is. He had a lot of experience, so he understood it, but nobody was teaching it to him. So I started teaching him true boxing. Now he's a totally changed fighter. Great fighter to watch, very adventurous, very entertaining, catches on very quickly, loves to learn. So now he's one of those guys who, if his chin can hold up, he'll be fine. But you got to have a chin in boxing. I don't know. I never seen him get hit much. I heard he got clipped his first fight and got up and won from the canvas. So that tells me his chin maybe a little bit, but he's been doing so good defensively and being responsible for it. I think it won't really matter. So as long as his chin can hold up, he's gonna be world champ.
And you got another kid on the card, undefeated, Keon Papillion. You were a sparring partner of his dad.
Yeah,
What?
Keon Papillon, Jason Papillon was one of my main sparring partners in my heyday. So he's taught everything they learned from me to his son. Him and Big Al together, and all three of us really kind of been mentoring and bringing Keon Papillon along. I think he's in a very good spot now. And I think somewhere down the line he will become a world champion.
And Dominique Roundtree, another one of your fighters.
Yeah, I just got Roundtree about 6 months ago. Roundtree is definitely a guy who's entertaining as well. Different because he knows boxing, but from a different perspective. You know, he's a natural fighter more so than a skill fighter. But I'm trying to use the natural fighter that he is to make him a real qualified, bona fide contender.
Man, for all you've done for the sport of boxing, boxing is lucky to have you still, and
Thank you,
you
brother.
know what you went through with the Olympics,
Yeah,
and that they've never taken care of that for you. But
thank you.
listen, got a great card. So September 19th at Legends
Yep.
Casino, Washington State.
Yep.
Globalsportstreaming.com. Any final words?
Hey, just show up every time we've been there so far. It's been a great night of fights. So don't miss it this time. If you missed the last three, you missed some good boxing. But we bring you another one. So try to make sure you get there this time to check it out. All right. Peace.
There you go, Roy. Thanks, man. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you. All right, brother. Thank you.
Bye.